In this video, we will demonstrate how to transport and install the Freemotion Dual Cable Cross strength machine. Please be sure to read the assembly manual thoroughly, as it will contain important safety warnings and assembly tips. If any parts are missing from the hardware kit, or if any parts arrived damaged, please contact Freemotion Customer Care at the information provided. The Dual Cable Cross weighs in at 1,200 pounds. To ensure the machine is transported safely and effectively, we will demonstrate approved ways to do so using standard equipment. Pallet jack for short distance transportation. Remove any shipping blankets and covers and set them aside. Using a standard or narrow pallet jack, place the forks under the weight stacks from the front of the machine. Raise the machine off the ground approximately 2 inches. With the weight on the pallet jack, you may now slowly move the machine short distances. Pallet jack for greater distance transportation. To move the machine a greater distance, you are required to remove and replace several of the shipping cones. Due to the cones' close proximity to each other, you must remove the weight stack cones first in order to remove and reinstall the cones under the weight stack. The following steps will demonstrate this process. First, remove any shipping blankets and covers and set them aside. Remove the tower cover, then rear access cover as shown. Remove the nuts holding the weight stack cone using a 3/4 inch socket. Using a standard or narrow pallet jack, place the forks under the weight stacks from the front. Lift the machine up until it clears the threads, then remove and set them aside. Next, remove the rear cones, reinstall them under the weight stack, and lower the machine. With the rear cones removed, the machine's weight is more effectively distributed when lifted from the side. You can now safely transport the machine for greater distances. Forklift. To transport the dual cable cross with a forklift, the shipping cones must be in the greater distance configuration discussed earlier. When using a forklift, place the forks under the unit from the side to evenly distribute the weight as shown. It is safest to lift and transport the machine no more than 2 to 4 inches off the ground. Once the unit is off the ground, tilt the forks slightly back to avoid the machine shifting. You are now ready to transport the dual cable cross using a forklift. Loading and securing. Now that you know how to safely transport the machine, we'll discuss loading and securing it into a box truck or semi-trailer. For a standard box truck or hardside trailer, first, place the machine into the truck with the back against the wall as shown. Place a folded blanket over the body of the machine to protect it from any damage. Using at least 2 straps rated for the weight of the machine, attach the machine to the wall, then secure the excess of the strap. If your box truck is equipped with wooden floors, you may use lag bolts to secure the shipping cones to the floor as shown. If you are using a soft side trailer or flatbed, place the unit where it is safest on the truck. Follow the same procedure, securing the machine with at least 2 straps. The weight of the machine should be evenly distributed to avoid biased weight shifting during transportation. If your vehicle is equipped with wooden floors, you may use lag bolts to secure the shipping cones to the floor here as well. Doors, stairways, and elevators. To transport the machine through standard doorways, up and down stairs, or into an elevator, the machine must be configured specifically. To move the machine through standard doorways or into an elevator, first, use a pallet jack to lift the machine from the side under the weight stack. Next, ensure the arms are at an angle that matches the stabilizers as shown. Finally, approach the doorway or elevator at an angle that matches the machine's stabilizers. As you move through the doorway, slowly arch the machine in and opposite of the approach angle until you clear the door frame or elevator. To transport the machine up and down stairs or into smaller elevators, the machine will need to be disassembled to be effectively and safely moved. The following steps will demonstrate how to do so. Place a shipping blanket on the floor to keep parts together, but also to protect the club's flooring. Remove the tower cover and back access cover. Take photos of the machine in case you need to reference part configurations during reassembly. Remove the plastic cable covers. Remove the weight stack pins and leave them at the bottom of the weight stack. Remove the cable from the stack using needle nose pliers and a 9/16 inch wrench. Remove the cables from the pulley system. Remove the pulleys from the swivel brackets using a 7/32 inch Allen wrench and a 9/16 inch wrench. Remove the counterweights using a 5/16 inch Allen wrench. Remove the arms using a 3/8 inch Allen wrench. Next, remove the guide rods. First, remove the top bolts using a 15/16 inch ratcheting wrench or deep socket with a standard 15/16 inch wrench on the lower nut. Once removed, lower the guide rod, remove the lower nut, and remove the guide rod. If the ceiling has a high clearance, simply slide the guide rod up and out through the hole in the top of the frame. If there is no clearance, you will have to tilt each guide rod back, remove the weight plates individually, then remove the assembly altogether. Remove the top plate and stem from each side. Remove remaining weights, stacking them in the order that they're removed. Lastly, remove the rubber weight cushions from both sides. The following steps will require a second person for assistance. Position a four-wheel cart behind the tower as shown. Carefully tip the tower backwards onto the cart. You will now have access to the mounting bolts for the stabilizers. Using a 3/8 inch Allen socket, remove both the left and right stabilizers. Next, place a folded blanket onto the floor under the machine. This will prevent damage to the club floor. Carefully lift the machine onto the blanket. While one person keeps the unit stable, have the second person slide the dolly under the tower. Strap the machine to the dolly using a blanket to prevent damage to the machine. Finally, move the machine and each of the disassembled parts to the final destination. Then, reverse the disassembly process to reassemble the machine. This concludes the assembly tutorial. For further assistance with assembly, operation, or other inquiries, please refer to the contact information slide at the beginning of this video.